morning, everybody. Today I'm going to be doing I'm making some meatballs with some cabbage in them, and it's going to be kind of like a cabbage casserole kind of, but it's going to be all contained within the meatballs. And I want to get as much cabbage into the meatballs as possible. So what I'm doing is I'm chopping up my cabbage pretty fine, and I'm going to cook it down so it'll be kind of soft and wilted to mix it a lot more of it into my meatballs. I've seen this done before with just the raw cabbage, but you can't put as much of the cabbage into the meatball when it's just raw like that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting my cabbage cut down, and I'm going to saute it for a little while. I'll probably just saute it in a little bit of water and a little bit of oil. That way I can use as much of it as possible. So I haven't seen y'all in a while, I know, but I've been busy. If I had somebody to just follow me around with the camera all the time, I know y'all saying, well, how about Mr. E? But he's busy too. So if we had, you know, someone to just follow us around with the camera all the time, we'd get a lot more footage. And sometimes you just don't feel like filming, but today I felt like it, and I wanted to get this on here. And also I want to do some other things today. I don't know if I'll get all of them done, but I intend to take y'all along while I try to get some of those other things done. I'm making a list to help me stay on track because I get distracted pretty easily. Have a lot of things I like to do, and then what'll happen sometimes is I'll get distracted. So anyway, I got my cabbage all cut up, and I'm just going to turn that on and let that start cooking down some. I cut up an onion, and I'm going to add that into the cabbage that I'm cooking over here. I'll let all that cook and soften together. And I also added some salt to that cabbage as well. Okay, this is a jar of salsa that I did back in 2022. And I'm going to just add that right down into that cabbage and onions to make it kind of cabbage casserole or cabbage roll like. Just gonna stir all that together and let it cook for a little while before I mix it into my ground meat. Let that water cook out of it. I'm going to add a couple of cups of cooked rice into this so it can absorb that tomato and onion and cabbage flavor. And let all that cook together. Just a couple of cups of cooked rice is what I'm using. And I'm going to stir that in together. Let it all mix up. It's going to be kind of like some cabbage rolls, kind of, but without having to go through the trouble of rolling them up. That's what I'm after. Okay, I'm not going to cook too much more of the moisture out of it because I want my the meatballs to be a little bit moist. But I'm going to come back in and season this to taste. And also I'm going to season up this ground meat. It's about 1 pound of ground deer meat is what I'm using. You can use any kind of ground meat you like, I'm sure. I'm going to season this ground meat with some of this tomato basil seasoning. I like to use that. It's pretty good. The Kelowna. I like to use this on pizzas as well. But it's got tomato and basil and what else is in here? Minced garlic, chili powder, paprika, parsley, thyme, and oregano. It's got salt in it also. So That's going to be good to season this with. I think it's going to give the dish just the right flavor that I'm after. Since this is deer meat, I'm going to add a little oil to it just to bring a little fat into the dish. Okay, there we go. And I like to use soy sauce in my deer meat as well, so I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. Ooh, that's a lot, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, so we're going to add that, mix that in there. Try not to over mix it. And I'm ready to mix my cabbage mixture into it, except for my cabbage mixture is too hot right now. Okay, I'm ready to mix my cabbage mixture into there, except for my cabbage mixture is too hot right now. So I have to let that cool, and then I can combine them. Okay, I got a little bit of an assembly line here. I've got my meat, which is seasoned, and I pre-fried a little bitty piece to see if it was seasoned to my likings. And then I have my rice and cabbage over here, mixture with the tomatoes and onions in it. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in the bottom of this pan. Now, I want to say that I didn't use all of the rice and cabbage mixture. I'm going to reserve some of that for another dish. But I got about half of this and half of that, equal portions, to mix together. So I'm going to go on ahead. I think what I'm going to do is mix it all together and then make them into balls. This is cooled off enough. I had put it on this platter and kind of flattened it out so it could cool quicker, because I'm ready to combine these so I can get them into the oven, so I can get on to the other things that I have planned for the day. So I'm just going to combine this like this. And make them into some meatballs. Form them into balls, put them in that oiled pan. I'm going to bake them at 360 for about 45 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and top them with a cheese mixture that I'll show you in a minute how I'm going to mix that up. And then I'll pop them back into the oven for about 10 minutes to let that cheese melt on them. And that's going to be it. Okay, my bowl's moving all over here. Okay, so as you can see, it's mixed up pretty good. Just make some nice sized balls. Sorry about the mess, y'all. This is real life cooking here. Alright, so I'm going to make them about that size. You see there? I'm just going to lay them down into this pan and bake them just like that. It's going to have plenty cabbage in it, which is good. That's what I wanted. It's going to have that tomato flavor, which is good. That's what I wanted as well. It's got the onion in it. It's got all the seasonings, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. Making some pretty nice size balls with them, because I want them to all fit in this little 8x8 pan that I have here. I may have to go back and make them a little bit bigger just so that they will fit, which that's fine with me. They're going to shrink down some anyhow in the oven, so they need to be kind of hefty. Yeah, I like the size of these that I'm making here. These are a little bit bigger, these last three. I like that size better. This one's a little too small. I'm going to add to it. These smaller ones, I'm going to pack on what I have left in this bowl. That's better. Oh yeah, much better. I'd rather them bigger like that, because they are going to shrink a little bit while they're cooking. Add some more to these. It ain't that much big of a difference. I sure don't want to get another, try to put them in a bigger pan for just this little bit. I'd rather make the balls a little bit bigger like I'm doing. And I think I'll add the rest to this one. And then I can get outside and do some of my outside projects, which I love being outside, so I can't wait to get out there. And I'm going to take y'all with me, and then we'll come back and check on these when our 45 minutes is up. So they can go into the oven just like that. Okay, so this is how they look going into the oven, guys. We got a nice thick fog this morning. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me show you. Look at there. Nice thick fog. Y'all hear the geese flying? I don't know if the camera, the sound will pick it up, but there's geese flying up above. I'm gonna come out here and pick some broccoli this morning. It all comes in at the same time, and if you're not careful, you'll lose some of it. You see how these got some yellow on them? That one's mighty green. I don't need to pick it. But these with this yellow spots on them, I'm gonna pick those so I don't lose them. All right, I don't usually cut this with scissors, but my knife's missing. So I'm gonna have to make do. You see how much of it's falling off? Them little yellow pieces. You see that? That's why this needs to be picked right away. So try to get those up also. All right. See how it's got that yellow on it? And see how it's falling off of there? That means it is time to pick it quick. I actually should have picked it earlier. And I have one more here I want to get also. Oh, that's a thick one to cut with scissors, but I got it. And also it has that those yellow pieces that are falling off. Okay, so that gives me 3 nice heads to work with. I'll bring those in. There's Izzy. She's my little sidekick today. So, thanks, Izzy. I'm gonna wash these really well and get on to the next step. I took some of my bell peppers that I had picked. I had these picked for a little while and they needed to be cut. So I went on ahead and I cut them long ways like this. I got some banana peppers in here too. And I had a couple of hot peppers, so I cut those differently. My intention is to make some stuff for some stir fries, and we'll be able to tell which ones the really hot ones are because they're cut different. They're cut in little circles. I want to mix in some of the cabbage that I had left over from my meal today, and I also want to mix in some of that broccoli that we just picked. And I'm going to put all of this in some big bags, and whenever I want to make stir fries, I can just pull those bags out and it'll make for a very easy stir fry. I'll just have to have the meat to add to it. So I'm just going to cut this broccoli up off of these stems, and then I can cut it down into some smaller pieces to put into my bags for my stir fries. Okay, you see like that? That's perfect. And I'll do some of the pieces of the stem as well, like that. I'm also going to use this cabbage that I have to add to my stir-fry mixture that I'm creating here. Just want to cut this core out of it. You can use most of it. And just took that hard core out of it. Okay, I can use the rest of it. I'm just gonna cut it up a little bit. Oh, got a little piece of dirt on that one. Okay. And put that in this bowl over here. This is going to be nice to have to make some stir fries with. Instead of buying that at the store, because you can buy those bags of stir fry mix already made, but I'll have some here at home already made. I'm just going to combine these 3 things that I have cut up and put them in some Ziplocs, and I should use them relatively quickly. So there's the cabbage that I cut up, the broccoli, and the peppers. I got some Ziploc bags here that I'm reusing. I had washed. I reuse them if I can. What I'm going to do is put about 1/3 of each of these bowls of stuff into these bags here. It should make a nice little bag of stir fry. Okay. Should be able to make 3 gallon-sized bags of these. Try to divvy up that hot pepper as well. I had more broccoli than anything, so I'm going to be doing some bags of broccoli just by themselves. Okay. Here's the rest of the cabbage. Peppers. So that made me 3 nice bags for some stir fry for later. I think I'm going to add a little more broccoli into these 2. Okay, that's good. Okay, pretty good. Get all the air out of them. And I'm going to be having some cauliflower coming in soon. I'll be able to do some more of these with cauliflower in them. So that's going to be really nice. Okay, so I just have to date these and put them in the freezer. This is the broccoli I have left, and I'm going to do a bag of it by itself. Just to make broccoli whenever I want to make just a plain broccoli dish. Okay, for our topping for our meatballs, we're going to be using some cheese. You can use any kind of cheese you have. You can use mozzarella. I have some Colby Jack, so that's what I'm using. Just some nice shredded cheese to add to the tops of your meatballs is what we're doing. I guess I've got maybe 1.5 cups of cheese right there. I'm going to add in a couple of tablespoons of mayonnaise. Maybe just 1 tablespoon. Let's see how that looks. My timer is about to go off on my oven. Okay, I'll turn that off so it wouldn't be beeping in our ears. And I'm going to add some parsley to that. Okay, it looks like it will take that other tablespoon of mayo. So let's get that down in there like that. And mix that up. And we're just going to use this as a topping on our meatballs, which I'm about to take out of the oven. And we're going to put this on top of them. Okay. Trying to get it evenly mixed in there. That looks pretty good, pretty even. All right, let me grab those meatballs out of the oven now. They look delicious. They're browned nicely. But we're going to add some cheese on top of these. Cheese, please. They smell good. They smell like cabbage rolls because I can smell the cabbage and the tomato in there. It smells really nice. Trying to divvy this out equally. I've seen this recipe done on Facebook actually, but they had used raw cabbage, and to me it would be hard to get a lot of cabbage into them like that, so that's why I cooked mine. And also I did change it. I mean, I did add rice. Theirs didn't have rice. I added tomatoes. Theirs didn't have tomatoes. So I did make it a little bit different. I like to get ideas, not necessarily use the same recipe, but get ideas and then make my own recipe. Do y'all do that? I mean, anybody watching this, what I'm doing here, might change it and make their own recipe out of this. You just make it how you like it, what you think would be good. Because everybody in different parts of the world and different parts of the country eats differently. We eat a lot of rice here. And I know everybody in the world doesn't eat as much rice as we do. So you kind of alter your recipes to what you're used to or what you like, or even what you have on hand, like the cheese. I'm just using the cheese that I have. The cheese I've seen used in the recipe was mozzarella cheese, which I'm sure would be delicious, but I don't have any mozzarella cheese in the icebox right now. Also in their recipe, they used fresh parsley. I didn't have fresh parsley, so I used dried parsley. Okay, this is going to go back in the oven for 10 minutes. Here's the final deal out of the oven, all nice and melted. I'm going to let it rest for a minute and then I'll get a piece out and show you what the inside of it looks like. Okay, let's try to lift one of these out of here. I don't want to lose any of my cheese. It might stretch. Let's see. Ooh, nice. Let's see how it cuts. Nice. Looks good. Smells good. Looks good. It's very hot though. But look inside of there. You can see the cabbage and rice and meat and cheese. The tomato. Look, nice little hunks of cabbage in there. All right, this is going to be good, I do believe. Oh yeah, I like it a lot. It's very good. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. And for those of you who haven't, I hope you'll consider it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye now.